It's precisely 6:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Edited by Lal Mallavarachi. Read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. The Prime Minister stands by the government's stance on the 20th Amendment. There is no obstruction to import vehicle spare parts. The government stresses that a new constitution will be presented within a year. The total of COVID-19 cases in Sri Lanka increased to 3,365. A stock of 946 kilos of smuggled turmeric had been seized by the army. And in news overseas, 100 people died as battles rage on between Armenian and Azerbaijani forces. First, let's take a look at the local news. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the Premier will not be made a nominal role through the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. Responding to the questions raised by heads of media institutions during a meeting held this morning, he noted that he stands by the government's stance on the 20th Amendment. When asked of the committees appointed to study the 20th Amendment by the parties affiliated to the government, the Prime Minister said, "Every party has a right to appoint committees in this regard. However, in the end, we will reach an unified agreement." The 20th Amendment was taken up for discussion during the meeting of the Cabinet of Ministers. Answering another question, the Premier said that there is no obstruction to import vehicle spare parts. The government to give its fullest priority to strengthen local economy. He also said that local farmers have already started cultivating turmeric. There will be no shortage of turmeric in future. The overseas travel ban was imposed on former Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka, ASP Sudat Asmadala and several other suspects. When the case pertaining to a road accident at Rajgiriya back in 2016, in which Ranawaka was named as a suspect, was heard today at the Colombo High Courts. The case was postponed to the 12th of next month. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing on local news, a stock of 946 kilos of smuggled turmeric had been seized by the troops of the Commando Regiment and 54 Division during a raid at Kondachi in Mannar today, the Army said. The stock of turmeric worth 3.7 million rupees and the suspect were handed over to the Mannar police. The owner of the collapsed building in Bualikada, Kandy, Anura Leuke, has been remanded by the Kandy magistrate courts. A 5-story building on the Sangamita Mavata in Buvalikada, Kandy, collapsed onto a nearby house on September 20th, and a family of 3, father, mother and 1.5-month-old infant, was killed in the incident. While the owner of the collapsed building, former Basnayaka Nilame of Dodanwala Devala Anura Leuke, claimed that the building was built up to proper standards with necessary approval. Broad investigations were launched into the incident. Upon information revealed in investigations, Leuke has been arrested this morning under criminal charges and produced before the courts. The total number of COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka rose to 3,365 today. According to the epidemiology unit, so far 3,230 persons have recovered and 120 persons are still under medical care. 20 more patients were discharged from hospitals earlier today upon returning to health. Meanwhile, the Department of Government Information said that today's COVID-19 positive cases comprise returnees from Lebanon and the UAE. With that, we conclude the local news. Main news story follows.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Co-cabinet spokesperson Udaya Gammampilla says that a new constitution will be prepared within a year. He stressed that a referendum will not be held for the 20th Amendment as it can be approved by a two-thirds majority in Parliament. He said that this at a press conference with regard to the recent cabinet decisions today. He said that no clauses that would require a referendum had been mentioned in the 20th Amendment, as a referendum would be inevitable when a new constitution is presented soon, as per the government's expectation. Thus, holding two referendums within a single year would be a waste of taxpayer money. Minister Gammampilla further stated that a long discourse was held between cabinet ministers as well as party members about the 20th Amendment. That came to you in our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, the National Building Research Organisation has issued a Level 1 yellow landslide early warning for parts of Kegaul and Ratnapura districts. They are Ratnapura District, Kuruvita Divisional Secretariat Division and surrounding areas, Kegaul District, Dehiyovita Divisional Secretariat Division and surrounding areas. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of
People's Leasing, the trusted leader. From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
The headlines of the world news. 100 people died as battles rage on between Armenian and Azerbaijani forces. Tourist faces jail in Thailand over hotel review. Amnesty International to halt India operations. The world news now in detail. Nearly 100 people, including civilians, have died as battles rage on between Armenian and Azerbaijani forces over the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region. The mountainous enclave is recognized as part of Azerbaijan, but has been run by Armenians since a war ended in 1994. The self-proclaimed republic has reported 84 military deaths since Sunday, as well as civilian victims. Azerbaijan has not revealed its military losses but has confirmed 7 civilian deaths. A US man is facing up to 2 years in jail in Thailand after posting negative reviews of a hotel he stayed in. He was sued by the resort under the country's strict anti-defamation laws. Wesley Barnes, who works in Thailand, had posted several reviews on different platforms, allegedly accusing the resort of modern-day slavery. The Seaview Resort, however, said the harsh criticism by the former guest was untrue and damaging to the hotel's reputation. Amnesty International says it has been forced to halt its India operations due to the repression from the government. The watchdog has also accused the government of indulging in a witch hunt of human rights organizations. Amnesty says its bank accounts have been frozen and it's been forced to lay off staff in the country and suspend all its campaign and research work. The government is yet to respond to the allegations. With that, we conclude the world news and the headlines of the world news once again. 100 people died as battles rage on between Armenian and Azerbaijani forces. Tourist faces jail in Thailand over a hotel review. Amnesty International to halt India operations. With that, we conclude the world news.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of
People's Leasing, the trusted leader. From the the first step you take till the time we meet. The trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, Rural Irrigation and Tank Development State Minister Anuruddha Jayaratne said that all arrangements are in place to launch the development of 5,000 irrigation tanks following the rainy season. He said that his ministry has finalized all the arrangements to launch the project under the directions of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This project will give impetus to the food crop production in all parts of the country. That was development news. Sports news follows. Taking a look at the sports news, the much-awaited Bangladesh cricket team's tour of Sri Lanka was called off yesterday after Sri Lankan health authorities turned down the request of Bangladesh Cricket Board seeking a reduction on the quarantine period, which forced both boards to push back to the tour to a later date, which might be next year. After several weeks of communication and discussions up and down, the Lankan health authorities refused to come down on the quarantine period, considering the COVID-19 pandemic's effectiveness in the region, which is at an alarming state. That was the sports news. Business news follows.
The wait is over, and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSB Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSB Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka stocks closed 0.50% lower on Tuesday on Carson Cumberbatch PLC, Bukit Dara PLC and John Keel's Holdings, provisional data showed. The all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange closed 30.6 points down at 5,998.14. The market turnover was 163 million rupees, while 72 stocks gained and 103 fell. That was the business news.
The wait is over, and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSB Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSB Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finances of Sri Lanka's tea exporters have been hit by delayed payments from international buyers due to a coronavirus pandemic, an industry official said. Jayantha Karunaratne, re-elected president of the Colombo Tea Traders Association, said the tea export sector has been experiencing severe cash flow difficulties due to the delays in receiving remittances from overseas buyers as a result of the worldwide economic upheaval created by the COVID-19 pandemic. That was economic news.
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Weather report was sponsored by
CIB Janajaya Vasana 15th phase offer from 14th September to 11th October. Win gifts worth in 100,000s for every over 3,000 rupees bill. Visit CIB today.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. Showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts, stated the Met Department. Several spells of showers may occur in northern and north-central provinces. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
CIB Janajaya Vasana 15th phase offer from 14th September to 11th October. Win gifts worth in 100,000s for every over 3,000 rupees bill. Visit CIB today.
Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The Prime Minister stands by the government's stance on the 20th Amendment. There is no obstruction to import vehicle spare parts. The government stresses that a new constitution will be presented within a year. The total of COVID-19 cases in Sri Lanka increased to 3,365. A stock of 946 kilos of smuggled turmeric had been seized by the army. With that, we conclude the news, and it's over to my friend and certainly yours as well, who's all geared up to keep you in good company with some good music. Over to you, Niranjan.